and welcome to this Excel tutorial on the information functions in Excel. Information functions in Excel are used to get information about worksheets and their content, such as the current row, if a particular cell is blank, whether a particular cell has an error, the type of value a cell contains, and many other things. Now let's see these functions in action one by one. So to access the information function, you'll first have to click the Formulas tab in the Function library. You'll have to click More Functions, and you'll have the information functions listed here. Once you hover over it, it'll show you all the formulas that belong under the category of information functions. So these are all the formulas listed here. The first one is cell. Now, what does cell do? It returns information about the formatting, location, or contents of the first cell according to the sheet's reading order in a reference. So let's see an example of how to use the cell function. Let me take this cell function here, type equals, cell, and then colon, followed by. You will have to say what kind of cell information you want from the data. For example, I want the address of the cell which I am selecting. So click on it, comma, we'll have to give the reference cell whose address it is that you wish to locate. Let me select this cell here. Close parenthesis, hit Enter, and once you hit Enter, it shows the address of the cell I2, which is I2. You can also see in this name box here, and the dollar signs means it's an absolute reference. Okay. You can also find any other data that you may want to know about a particular cell. Let me now select the row. Choose the row and then put a comma, and then you have to select the value. Okay, so it's now given you that the selected cell H2 is in row number 2. All right, this is how you use the cell function. Now let's move on to the next function, which is error type. Error type returns a number that stands for an error value. So let me show you the list of errors. So just type ERROR.TYPE, and then it'll give you the list of errors. Like 1 stands for null value, 2 stands for division error, and so on. Okay, so here you can see that we have a not available value. For this particular error, let me see what number I get as a result using the error type information function. So error type, I'm going to select the error value and then enter. And we get the result as 7. What does 7 stand for? Let's go ahead and check. 7 stands for the not available error, which is exactly what we have in our data here. Okay, great. So let's move on to the next formula. The next formula is info or information. And what does this do? It returns information about the current operating environment. Okay, so we have to type semicolon equals info brackets, and these are the various options available to me in this function. Say I want to select the option num file, which returns the number of active worksheets. So select it, and then close parenthesis, enter. So we've got 13 here, which means we have 13 active worksheets in this particular workbook. Here you have 8, and then the remaining sheets are hidden. So in total, we have 13 worksheets, which is the result we got here. OK. Now let's move to another function. The next one is blank, to check whether a reference or a selected cell is empty. OK, so let me use the formula equals is blank of the value I select and enter. And it returns false because the cell is not blank. OK, now let me drag this formula to other columns as well. All right, and I will delete the data of a few of the cells. So now you can see the formula has become true here because we do not have any value here in these two columns, which is why isBlank is returning the value true. OK, let's move on to the next one. The next ones we have here are is, err, is error, is even, and some more. You can even try them one by one. For now, let me explain how the function ISERROR works. OK, ISERROR of, you have to give the value, and then OK. So we have an error here, which is why the cells read true. If I drag this down, you can see it says false because we don't have an error in the next cell. OK, and now let's move on to the next one. Is even. This is going to tell you if a number is even or not. Let's use this particular column to use the ISEVEN function. Is even of the number, and it says true because 50 is an even number. Here we have 23, which is not an even number, hence it's showing false. The same applies for the other data. There are many other functions like this where you can check if a cell's data is not available. If it is a non-text value, if it is not a number, if it is odd or not, if it is a text value, and much more. So lastly, let's see the sheets function here. OK, so for that, you're going to have to just type equals sheet, and it returns to you the sheet number of the reference cells. For example, if I select this particular cell and hit Enter, it gives me 5 as sheet number, because 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So only in this sheet have I referenced this particular data. So it shows us the current sheet number, and this is how you work using information functions. You use it when you want to fetch some information about the data that you have. And that's all for this video. Thank you for watching.